Nerdrotic.com.
We're in the decline of Hollywood right now. I mean, it's peaked. Like, it's had its best days. How does that feel, Chris Gore?
It's depressing. And just I moved here from Detroit. I grew up lower middle class, whatever. And I was actually just back home in Michigan, visiting family. And I was just talking to a buddy, and it's like, why are people from Michigan so, like, it's just different. It's weird. Because just being in Los Angeles, there's a statistic that I saw. The highest concentration of assholes live in Los Angeles. I can definitively say that. But in Detroit, where I grew up, it's just like, my dad worked for Chrysler. My friend's dad worked for Ford. My other friend's dad, he worked for Chevrolet. There's like this sort of like total non-elitism because everybody just had working families, right? So when I came here to LA, I just noticed people are so fucking full of themselves. They think that the job that they're doing is more important than a plumber or whoever, and it's just, or they don't know how to change a tire. Sort of basic things that you really need to know in life. That's the thing my highly tuned Detroit bullshit detector just sort of saw, like, oh, people here are full of shit. People here don't keep promises. People here want to, like, they're like, when you get, and your radar goes off, I'm sure you've all had this experience where someone is way too friendly and nice to you and you just met them and you're like, I don't know, red flag going off, right? Like, you get vibes, and that was always happening to me. And it just told me, like, well, I'm just, I'm going to try and do whatever it is I'm going to do. But I've seen a lot of crazy, weird shit in this business, but most people are full of shit. We were talking earlier about late night and just like people who've disappointed us. Jimmy Kimmel I love Kimmel. When he was doing Man Show with Corolla.
Adam Carolla is awesome.
He's great, but like, it's weird to see the two of them, which were doing the Man Show. I mean, like, if he did anything,
Kimmel fucking sold out.
He would get canceled. So just to see how that environment changes people is really disheartening.
Right? I just think at the end of the day, like, when we're looking at what Hollywood has become, it's no longer about entertaining. It's about manipulating their audience and trying to change culture. That's what it is. The people that are making these films, that is their end goal, not to entertain people.
So when Simu Liu is out there LOL and us, like, dude, you're on the clock with fucking you got your Marvel uniform on, bro. Which, again, thank you.
We all know it.
Thank you so much, Simu. Hollywood is they're leaving money at the table. The most basic thing is, like, you had a kung fu movie to make. Just rip off a kung fu movie. Rip off The Raid. No, instead you made a sitcom and fucking never-ending story, wherever the fucking hell it was.
I don't even know what the fucking thing you could call it.
They're leaving shit on the table when they could make the most obvious thing. It would be a hit. They would still be successful. So that's the biggest question I have is, and I think I know the answer, but Chris, why are they not doing the obvious thing? Why are they going out of their way to piss off some fans? Because that's what's behind it. And why what happened to fucking writing? Is it all just because it's content now and it doesn't really matter? Well,
it's really because I feel like they're almost casting the directors in the same way that they cast the actors, right? And writers' rooms. I have a friend who pitched a show to Marvel, and they said, yeah, you could totally if you weren't two white guys pitching this would sell immediately. I can't sell you. Like, his agent just said to him, I'm sorry, I can't sell you. It's almost it's really pathetic. It's
racism. I mean, that's what it is.
It's racism. Yeah.
It's systematic.
It's not about equality. It's about equity.
Well, I mean, we've gotten to the point where the only socially acceptable form of racism is against,
Yeah.
Not X-ray
point
girl.
that finger somewhere else.
Okay. Only 3/4 that way.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got to put respect on the quarter, okay?
I mean, I don't think there should be any racism. I think it's just you should.
That's
it's just
a racist term.
People who got the best ideas, and you want to.
Whoa, that's an alt-right dog whistle right there. You are good.
I've been told that's problematic.
Why is that type of racism not called out? You cannot do it. It is not. It's not. It's fine. Whatever.
It is called out, but then you get called a racist for calling it out.
It's like when you call out bigotry, then they turn around and they call you the homophobe.
Right.
It's a Hollywood trap right now. I mean, we see it with, every Star Trek character's been fucking turned gay. Everybody in comics has been fucking turned gay. And then you go, why stop turning our characters fucking gay? Create characters, new characters that are gay. Create them. And then you turn out like a bigot.
Yep.
Oh, look at these homophobes. Look at these bigots. Like, no, this doesn't work the other way. We don't see gay characters become straight. We don't see female characters become men. We don't see black characters become white. This is a one-way street.
And to be
yet
clear,
you've
I
got
don't want to
built-in
see
deniability
right?
along the way. It's just like nothing you can do.
What's the first thing you see on Twitter once they flip a character? Oh, the bigots
finally.
Finally, and then the bigots are going to get mad about this.
Yeah.
Good. Right. I mean, they're excited about it. So it's like, so that's the only point. You're just trying to get people mad so you can virtue signal and tell us what a great person you are because you're fighting bigots for wanting to keep Superman straight or Spock straight. By the way, Spock is only played by one person, Leonard Nimoy. And that's it.
Say just about What If. What If is one of my favorite comics.
Yes.
Right. Whenever I go to a convention, I'm like, do you have the used comics? I just want to go to the What If. And they were really creative, right? Mm-hmm. Like mixing up the Fantastic Four powers and just like it was cool. Like it's definitely and the What If series isn't that. It's just race and gender swaps. Like
yeah.
But that's so lazy to me. We're living in the age now of factory filmmaking. This is what Francis Ford Coppola talked about. It's like this is why like the real creatives are getting out of the business, which is why it's so disheartening to me that I believe we will never see another George Lucas, a guy who was so incredibly creative, a guy who was an indie filmmaker who hated Hollywood and moved north to get away from the bullshit and the fake people. I've been surrounded by Asian cinema my whole life. I even did a segment on G4 called Asian Underground, right, with this guy named Jeff Wong, and he and I would talk about Asian cinema and just to kind of introduce people to it. So when I saw it, and I have to give credit to Tom, he said this, and it's sort of like I grew up loving Taco Bell when I lived in Michigan, right? I thought Taco Bell was the greatest. Then I moved to LA and it was like I'd never had a taco, right? Because I finally went to a true Mexican restaurant where nobody spoke English, which is always the best food. If you're going to get good Chinese food, Korean barbecue, whatever, go somewhere where nobody speaks English. Those are the best places. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Shang-Chi is the Taco Bell of martial arts movies. It's a copy of something else.
That is so on point. Oh my God.
That's
hilarious.
And I didn't care if anyone looked like me when I was watching Johnny Sacco and his giant robot. It didn't matter to me that I didn't look like that person because the whole point of fiction, all fiction, comic books, movies, video games, novels, books, is to identify with someone who isn't you. If you have to see someone and then project yourself, you're a fucking narcissist.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking and sharing the videos. It really does help. And if you did this with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.